Our leaders like their colonizers more than us. That's why they always seek after anything that looks like colonizers. 10 years ago, when we formed the EFF in South Africa, we told them that our organization is not for South Africa. Our organization is for all Africans. And we said this. We said this during xenophobic attacks of our people in South Africa, where people were being attacked because they come from outside South Africa. We chose to side with our people because we're necessitated by the fact that we love ourselves. And if you love yourself, you'll see a person from Tanzania in you. You'll see a person from Nigeria in you, because we are one thing.
What Julius Malema is saying is absolutely correct, because there are some African leaders who have been absolutely no patriotism towards their people. This situation usually starts at the bottom, at the whole exercise of finding a leader, because a large number of our leaders have been appointed by Westerners for their personal interest and not for the interest of Africans themselves. Also, on the other hand, Julius Malema said about the condition of we Africans, that we do not like each other, and reminded of the period of xenophobic in South Africa. It was sad to see an African expelling a fellow Africans from a neighboring country just in case they come to take our job. So let us continue to listen his speech.
We as the economic emancipation movement did not only say we are pan-Africanist. In one of our cardinal pillars, we said South Africa must engage in massive investment of economic development in Africa. Because if you keep on saying people are coming to South Africa, are looking for jobs, are going to take jobs from us, we can stop this thing of people coming to South Africa. How do you do it? Go and build massive economic development in African countries so that people can stay where they are and they can feed themselves from where they are. No one wants to leave his own home into some strange place. We leave our homes because we are searching for greener pastures. If there is an ESCOM in South Africa which is failing to give us electricity, but when it was well and still running according to how we wanted it, ESCOM had the capacity to electrify the whole of Africa. Why are you not going into the African continent and electrify the whole of Africa? Why is there no train that moves from Cape to Cairo, making sure that trade in Africa and movement of goods and persons is easy? Because if we do that, there's no one who can leave Lusaka to go and stay in South Africa. They can get into a train, go and do what they want to do in South Africa, and come back home and develop their own countries.
Let us remember this script when Julius Malema visited in Liberia, said that he's not in parliament to be liked by people. He's there to make sure that the democracy works, and democracy can work only if the resources of states are looked after.
Members of parliament must make sure that parliament works for the people. It holds the executive accountable. They must not be sweethearts of the president and ministers. They must look after the resources of the people by holding those in the executive accountable. If you are a member of parliament and you seek favor and you want to be liked by the president or a minister, you must know you have already failed. We are not in parliament. I'm in parliament myself. We're not in parliament to be liked. We're in parliament to make sure democracy works. And democracy can only work if the resources of the state are looked after. How do we ensure that? Parliament must always watch over the executive on how it utilizes the state resources. If it utilizes state resources for family benefit and individual benefit and friends benefit or patronage, then the EFF and the members of parliament must make sure they make the loudest noise against corruption and using the money of the resource of the state for the benefits of certain individuals who are close.
Also, Julius Malema still reminding us that speak truth to power, because a lot of us, we suffer from want to be liked by someone. You have to speak truth to power. Watch this video.
I like that. You see, speak truth to power. But please don't want to be liked. A lot of us, we suffer from wanting to be liked, especially being liked by people in power, because you seek favors. I seek no favor, for because I believe in myself. So you ought to believe in yourself. If you are an engineer like my brother here, if you are a doctor like my sister here, you've got the qualifications, you've got what it takes. You're not going to be scared of some illiterate because it comes from the bush and they say he's a soldier, a non-thinker, and you are scared that when I oppose this person, he will point a gun at me. You must tell him that put it here and shoot me and make sure I die, because I'm not scared of death. I'm scared to die before I die, because the day you stop telling the truth and you are pretending and you seek to be liked, you are dead. You are equal as a dead person, because you are not enjoying anything. So when I live here, I'm not worried there's someone who's going to call and say, those things you spoke about them there, pay me the money I borrowed you. I don't owe anyone anything, nothing. I don't seek favors from a white man, from colonialists, from anyone. So my brother, don't be scared. Don't try to really impress, because you are impressing corruption. You are not impressing that person. You want to be liked by corruption. So you can't seek love from corruption. Corruption is the destroyer of the future and must be fought here in Ghana, and it must be fought in South Africa, and it must be fought all over Africa. So please, let's not be scared to confront the powers that be.
Pan-Africanism is never forgotten noise of the painful cries of those captured slaves whose black bodies were swallowed by the Atlantic Ocean from the slave ships. It is the agonizing cry from the brutal violence suffered by the black slaves in the sugar, cotton, and corn plantations from Georgia to Sao Paulo. Pan-Africanism is also the resounding victory from the theater of the Haitian Revolution from 1781 to 1804, led by the greatest descendant of our continent, Toussaint Louverture. Together with his patrons, they bravely led the first and only successful slave revolution in human history, defeating a combined European force commanded by a France Napoleon Bonaparte. It is the bravery of those African former slaves who will define citizenship on a racial definition of blackness, declaring that Haiti belongs to black people regardless of the color of their skin. Pan-Africanism is also the anger emanating from the countless defeats suffered by the patrons, the brave soldiers like those of Mau Mau and Bambata rebellion, defeated at the hands of the brutal British colonial forces. It is the intellectual heritage of Marcus Garvey, W.E. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Harriet Tubman, Pixley Isaac Aseme, Charlotte Mateke, Winnie Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Seiko Tore, Julius Nyerere, Haile Selassie, c0l0nizars, Frantz Fanon, Thomas Sankara, and today our own Prof. Lumumba, together with us, must carry the mantle of the African Pan-Africanist cause. Pan-Africanism is a set of ideas written in chains with blood, spear, and the unforgiving guns of the sons and daughters from the Algerian Revolution to the Battle of Kutoko-Naval. It is the one-party state of Africa as a whole, as professed by Marcus Garvey. It is Ami Caesarius negritude, Kwame Nkrumah's African socialism, Steve Biko's black consciousness, Julius Nyerere Ujamaa. It is also Mbeki's African Renaissance, all based on forging a unity of African people who are formed by the same history and must seek after common destiny. It is the architectural achievement from the pyramid of Egypt to the cities of Mapungube. It is the industrial invasion by Garrett Morgan, traffic lights, Frederick Jones, refrigerated trucks, and Alexandra Mars, automatic elevator doors. It is the cultural movement in jazz, R&B, reggae, funk, blues, kwaito, juju Nigeria, Chimorenga Zimbabwe, Makosa Cameroon, and Benga Kenya. It is the novel Things Fall Apart, The Devil on the Cross, Maru, The Trails of Brother Jeru, Songs of Solomon, and Notes of Native Son. It is the artwork of Gerald Sekoto, Chike Anyako, Oche Okeke, Edmonia Lewis, the religious movement of Bishop Lekhanyane, Manku, and Shembe, the Coptics of Egypt and the Ethiopian Orthodox Christians, as well as Islamic